It's interesting because you can make an argument that this team is relatively ahead of schedule. Last year, no one expected this team to go 9-8, make the playoffs. No, that was the furthest thing we were thinking about. All we were concerned with was being competitive, and seeing the growth in the team and seeing that we have some competency at the coaching, in the coaching ranks, and we've seen that to a degree, but the coaches still have a lot to show.
Good morning, NFC East. Welcome to this Thursday. Happy first day of NFL season, baby. Let's go. I'm ready for Bills Rams in T-minus 13 hours, ready for kickoff. I got my man, Tone DeShields, with me today. It's a Tone Thursday. Tone, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, Jeff. Football is one day closer. We have the Rams and the Bills tonight. I'm super excited. I can't even contain it.
Super Bowl preview, Tone? Do we think this is going to be a Super Bowl?
No. I don't think the Rams will be back. It's really hard to repeat in this league. So I just don't know if the Rams can actually get back. Maybe they get to the conference championship, but I just don't think they'll be able to get over the hump to the Super Bowl again. Again, like I said, it's hard to repeat.
It's crazy. The NFC East hasn't had a repeat winner since 2004, which is the last time we had a Super Bowl win. What a crazy division. And we're going to have Kyle Stackpole from CBS today, NFL draft editor. He's covered the Commanders, and we'll get into the Commanders in a bit here. But I'll tell you what, Tone, I'm just going to start out right now. I was afraid about this Lions game. I'm not afraid anymore because of Jason Kelce. Did you hear what Jason Kelce said yesterday?
Yeah, Jason Kelce pretty much laid it all out. He said, look, expectations, they mean nothing. If we do what, he said a lot of F-bombs, what I mean? So, but Jason Kelce has always been the voice of, the football community, in Philadelphia, the voice of the city, really. He took his lore, he took his legend to another level once he came out with the Mummers outfit at the parade. But Jason Kelce, he's one of those guys that demands nothing but commitment, and you can just tell he's a man's man. He does things the right way. He's heavy in the community. He's heavy on giving back. He's one of those guys that you can't help but to follow. And again, Jason Kelce expects nothing less but commitment and perfection. If you can't reach perfection, then aim for greatness.
I've been telling people, do not sleep on this Lions team. Just don't. And the Eagles aren't. And I agree with Kelce 100%. The Eagles haven't accomplished anything, in my opinion. And if they win Sunday, which I think they're going to now, I still don't think they'll accomplish anything. Eagles, in my opinion, will not accomplish anything until they beat a good team with a winning record. And that's just the first step. I'm not like Rick Saratella here. I ain't picking them to go to Super Bowl. I'm not doing it. But
I can't really jump off that cliff with Rick yet either. I'm not quite there. Not quite there.
This is my opinion in this league. You want to pick a team to go to Super Bowl, do what the Buffalo Bills have been building over the last couple of years. Like, they haven't really won a big game either. I mean, they can't get over the Kansas City Chiefs hump yet, but they're in position to do that. The
Right.
Eagles, they got to win a playoff game first. To me, they have to do a lot more than what we're expecting them to do. If they win the division, win a playoff game this year, I'll be bought in for 2023. Right now, I think this year is about building and making yourself a contender.
Last year, see, it's interesting because you can make an argument that this team is relatively ahead of schedule. Last year, no one expected this team to go 9-8, make the playoffs. No, that was the furthest thing we were thinking about. All we were concerned with was being competitive, and seeing the growth in the team and seeing that we have some competency at the coaching, in the coaching ranks. And we've seen that to a degree, but the coaches still have a lot to show. But ultimately, you're right. There are still steps that have to be taken, and the Bills have definitely taken the road that most have traveled. You get to the playoffs, you lose. I remember Josh Allen losing in the playoffs to Deshaun Watson. It was a crazy game. And then the following year, they made it a step further. I think they actually made it to the
They actually made it to the conference title game.
Yeah, the conference title game. They lost to the Chiefs, I think.
Yeah.
And then the following year, here we are again. They lose to the Chiefs, but I think it was the divisional round. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles are ahead of schedule. If they can manage to win a playoff game this year, then I know we're still on schedule. But this is an interesting year because the Eagles are in a conference that's very, very weak. And I'm sorry, I have questions about the Buccaneers. I have questions about the Packers, and then the Rams. I just don't think they're going to repeat. I really think that the Philadelphia Eagles, the way they're built, and as the season progresses, because they're only going to get better. By week 18, I expect this team to be more polished. I expect them to be a playoff team, and I'll be honest. I think they can catch a team slipping.
I expect this team to be 2-0 going into Washington. I do.
Yeah.
I expect them to beat Detroit. They should beat Detroit. And Detroit's a scary team because the old saying goes, you don't know you're bad in week 1. Detroit, they're a hungry team. I really like Dan Campbell, what he's building there. That offense is lethal. They are not going to have Big V on Sunday, which I think is a big loss for them. Because
they may not have their center either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and again, Frank Ragnow is one of the best centers in football. I mean, Eagles fans don't want to admit this because we all know Jason Kelce is the best center in football, but Frank Ragnow is right up there with him. He really is, but he's hurt a lot. Jason Kelce isn't. That's the difference. But their defense, I'll tell you what, Tone, the Eagles have to go out and score early. This Lions defense, it's not very good. Aiden Hutchinson is going to make them better, but there's so many pieces that they need. And Detroit's confident, but how to shatter a confident team early is to get ahead of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be important for this Philadelphia Eagles team to come out hot and to not overthink it. Take what they're giving you. Even if you got a nickel and dime your way down the field, there is a such thing as a death by 1,000 cuts. And I just feel that they have to score early. If knowing Nick Sirianni, I believe he's going to ask for the ball first. If we win the coin toss, he will ask for the ball first. He wants to
not do that once last year.
Right, he did. He didn't, but in the preseason, he done it. He did it every single game. So I'm curious that depending on the opponent, if he's going to be more focused on getting his offense out there, getting his defense out there. I think he wants to get that offense out there. I think he wants to get them in a rhythm early.
I'm still not concerned over Miles Sanders. Everybody's, with the whole preseason. To me, I think players or teams rest running backs in the preseason. I just do. And all of a sudden, he's a full participant
now. Yeah. I think my concerns with Miles, and you bring up a good point. They do rest running backs in the preseason, but Miles, I think even beyond the rest, he had a lingering, I believe, hamstring injury or something like that, or groin, one or the other. And my major concern with Miles going into this season is health, and it always has been and always will be health. Miles is a guy that has talent. He has talent. Am I a fan of his vision? Not really. I feel like he overthinks things, and I feel like he regularly picks the wrong hole. But he has game breaker ability. He has the ability to break off a 50-yard run if you give him the space. He has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy, Jeff. I can't put it no other way than that.
Especially this year, because I like what the Eagles have at running back. I think you and me could probably get a yard behind that offensive line, but Boston Scott is what he is. He's a good player. He's a good backup. Kenny Gainwell, I'm not sure what he is yet. I like Kenny Gainwell. I think he can be not a feature back in the offense, but I think he could be a huge contributor, but he's not a guy I'm relying on to get 20 carries a game if you need to. Miles Sanders can do that. And I think that's going to be the big thing with this football team. Everybody's talking about the passing game and all the weapons. And look, I'll say it right now. George Kittle said Dallas Goedert is going to be a really good player for them. Nationally, I know a lot of people are talking about A.J. Brown, what he's going to do, all the weapons on this team. And Miles Sanders is listed. Dan Campbell specifically mentioned Miles Sanders yesterday. He said, look, and I'll actually get the quote right now. I got to find it here. This is tough here. Oh, okay. So this is pretty much what Dan Campbell said. When he mentioned, look, I can name more than 1 or 2 players, but he said Miles Sanders, when he is on the field, he is a threat. So Dan Campbell knows Miles Sanders is going to be the one guy that can beat you on Sunday. And I think he knows his run defense isn't that good, and Miles Sanders can go – he can have a 100-yard game on Sunday.
Right.
So,
we have to enter this game with a mindset of they are a different team, different year, different team, different circumstances. We called them while they were 0-8. They knew they were bad. We're catching them at a point where everyone's 0-0, and they believe that they've made some drastic changes to their culture, to their philosophies, to their overall approach. And, it's going to be important for the Eagles not to come in sleepwalking, but overall, do what you do best. Be physical. And again, it's week 1. You don't have to overthink it. You can approach this on a week-by-week basis based on your opponent. Okay, if my opponent sucks at stopping the run, I'm going to find out if they can stop the run. It's as simple as that. When you go up against a top 3 run defense in the New Orleans Saints last year, and they know how to stop the run, and you still run the ball on them anyway, that's a different level of disrespect. So I believe the Detroit Lions shouldn't be any different. They're actually terrible at stopping the run. So it should give you more reason to execute, your run game. And on top of that, Shane Steichen is going to be calling the plays from the beginning now. I have faith in Shane Steichen in terms of his play calling philosophy. I feel like he's going to lean more into Hurts' strengths rather than in the beginning of the season. Nick Sirianni was kind of just trying to force feed that, that passing game. I think Shane is going to, begin this season very measured, and I believe he's going to try to get Jalen in rhythm. He's going to get him some easy throws, but it's always going to go back to that running game. I think we're going to see a lot of play action in Week 1 versus Detroit.
Who's a big fan of Shane Steichen? Justin Herbert. Every time I interview Justin Herbert, we talk about Shane Steichen. The Philly connection, obviously, but I think Shane Steichen has the tools to be an NFL head coach someday. And a lot of people were saying this about Nick Sirianni in 2018, 2019, where he's like, Nick Sirianni, really? Like that guy? Oh yeah, he's a couple years away. Well, no, it happened sooner than we thought. It might be the case for Shane Steichen. We keep saying Jonathan Gannon's a rental. Shane Steichen might actually be the rental here because he will be calling plays. And he might be, I'm not saying he's going to be like the next Brian Daboll, but Brian Daboll, he wasn't really on the radar until Josh Allen broke out. If Jalen Hurts breaks out, Shane Steichen's going to be a hot commodity.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it from that perspective. You've developed Justin Herbert, then you've managed to develop Jalen Hurts, a guy that no one really believes in, and it's strange to me. There's nothing wrong with having realistic expectations. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, this is where he needs to improve. But you have people who are out there that are. It seems like they're going out of their way to just continue to say what he can't do. Instead of talking constructively, they're talking destructively, and it's some Eagle fans as well. I'll be honest. I'm boots ground in Philly. In Philly, I hear a lot, and there are some people who are high on Jalen Hurts. You have some people who flat out just don't think he can be the guy. And my thing is, you better hope he's the guy, because if he is, that puts us in a fiscally better position going forward. And if Shane Steichen can develop this guy, that'll be huge. It's going to be really fascinating to see how Jalen Hurts responds to another year being the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's seen a lot last year. He went up against some pretty good defenses last year, and I feel like that Tampa Bay game was sort of a wake-up call, if you ask me. Not saying he was never a focused individual, but I feel like that game went exactly the way it was supposed to, so Jalen Hurts can rise like a phoenix.
Yeah, this isn't Ronnie Pete. This isn't Kevin Cobb. This guy actually showed potential last year. This is, in my opinion, just covering the league. This is when I know you're at least a pretty decent quarterback. When you're mentioned in the milestones and the milestones you can accomplish with Patrick Mahomes, with Justin Herbert, with Josh Allen, with Aaron Rodgers, with these guys, you're mentioned with them, with Lamar Jackson. By the way, that's another one. I'm getting tired of people ripping Lamar. Lamar is good, and he's going to get paid, and Baltimore should pay him. I want Baltimore to pay him. I get tired of people hearing he can't throw. Well, guess what? Lamar can throw because he led the league in touchdown passes.
He can throw.
Yeah. I get sick of that. Like, what are Eagles fans going to do? What are the Jalen Hurts haters going to do if he throws 30 touchdowns this year? You know what they'll say, Tone? I should have threw 40.
Man, it never fails. But We have Kyle Stackpole backstage right now. This is going to be a really dope segment. I'm really looking forward to this one, Jeff. What about you?
Oh, Stack's the man. Stack and I talk football all the time. I'll tell you what, he saw Carson Wentz up close and personal this year. We got to hear the reports how Carson Wentz looked in camp. Kyle Stackpole has seen Carson Wentz. Kyle Stackpole used to work for the Commanders. There's anybody that knows the ins and outs of that organization, it's Kyle Stackpole.
Hey, man. Well, you guys, make sure you continue to stay locked in on JAKIB Sports. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are consistently staying locked in on Good Morning NFC East with Jeff Kerr. We're going to be back after the break with Kyle Stackpole. Keep it locked, you guys.